Welcome back. Despite the continuing threat of the COVID 19 pandemic, millions of students across the United States returned to in person learning this fall. But the negative impact on education due to remote or hybrid learning last year is considerable, especially in math. In an effort to address this disparity, Cuemath, a one on one online personalized math and coding tutoring service backed by Google, is helping to bridge the growing math gap by offering access to guided math curriculum and exercises. To tell us more, Manan Khurma, the founder of Cuemath. Welcome.
Thank you, Audrey. Happy to be here speaking with you.
Who was most impacted academically during the pandemic?
Audrey, yeah, absolutely. I think, as you said, it's been a very challenging academic year for American students in general because, school districts over the last year, they've oscillated between virtual, hybrid, and in-person learning. And students have faced all kinds of problems, like mid-year changes of their teacher, glitching connections, Zoom fatigue, and so on. And I think the impact has been the hardest on Black and Hispanic communities. That's because remote learning is fundamentally different from going to school. You have to have the right kind of tools and resources to thrive in a remote learning environment. Access to devices, reliable internet connections, all these things really matter, right? And this means that this set of students, they have received far less amount of live teacher instruction compared to what, let's say, students would have received over the last year. And that's caused these students to fall anywhere between 6 to 12 months behind in math already. And that's a huge gap, right? And if this gap is not addressed soon, it's going to have a ripple impact on everything once these kids, with this cohort of kids, they enter the workforce at some point with suboptimal knowledge and skills. It's going to cost a McKinsey report that says that this is going to cost the US economy hundreds of billions of dollars. Yeah, it's been a bad year for learning.
Wow. It's going to cost the US economy hundreds of billions of dollars? Math is crucial, and it seems like it's becoming even more crucial. I know a lot of parents are probably trying to help their kids, but the way we learn versus the way they're learning is different. So I guess we weren't any help, were we?
Yeah, that's true. I think most kids learn math in a very abstract way. They focus on learning math through rote memorization and so on, and that just causes them to become averse to the subject. Become disinterested, even hate the subject. But I think math education, especially in today's age, is super critical to get right because it's just become so important, right? If you look at the most important skills and trends today, like data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, it's the century of these skills, right? And all of these skills have math at their core. So kids who build this ability today will find it far easier to access these valuable ecosystems of tomorrow. And hence, I think a strong math education opens up a lot of great career and life opportunities. And it's really important to get kids to build that foundation, right?
Tell us about QMath and how it differs from other math tutoring programs.
Absolutely. So, I'm the founder of Cuemath after a decade of teaching math to middle and high schoolers. More than 10,000 students I've taught myself. And through that experience, I realized that most students learn math, the completely wrong way. So about 8 years ago, I created Cuemath, which is an after-school one-to-one math tutoring program where expert tutors, they do these live online math classes with K to 12 students. And these tutors, they're handpicked, they're expert math educators. They use a very unique and powerful method of teaching math, which is what we call the Cuemath method. It's very visual, very interactive, has a heavy emphasis on understanding instead of rote memorization. And the objective, Audrey, really is to get every student, every child to see that math is beautiful, it's logical, it's everywhere around you. It underlies everything that happens in life. It's like a language, and if you learn it the right way, you can easily master this beautiful language. So yeah, that's what we do at Cuemath.
So we've established that math education is really important. When students are being tutored, how long on average does it take to get them back up to speed?
I think it really depends on what kind of gaps there are. So math is not like other subjects. Math is very very interconnected. So calculus in grade 12 is built on functions from grade 10 or 11. That's built on algebra from grade 7 and 8 and so on, right? So it's like a lattice of concepts. And if the foundation is weak, then building on top is not effective. So it all boils down to how much of a gap there is, right? In some cases we have seen that we actually need to go down 2 or 3 grades to kind of do remedial help with the student and so on. But yeah, typically it takes about 6 to 9 months for the student to get completely back on track. But the earlier you start, the better. The older the student gets, it becomes harder to kind of course correct. So what we recommend to parents is to start as early as possible, especially when it comes to learning math, because it's like a language, it's like a life skill. So the earlier you start, the better.
And where can we go to access both the curriculum and the free content?
Yeah, sure. So Cuemath.com, that's Cuemath.com. That's our website. It's the best place to visit us and learn more about us. I'm also active on LinkedIn. So if any viewer or listener, they'd like to connect, if they have any queries or suggestions, I'd love to connect and chat with them.
Fabulous. It sounds like a great opportunity to get kids back on track, because what I've heard from some teachers here, that math has indeed been a big issue. Manan Khurma, the founder of Cuemath, has been my guest. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure.